Yeah, hello, and thank you for making time. There are a few issues I need to clarify. Just as I indicated, and there are citizens, senior citizens within the Republic of Ghana and many others serving in the diaspora, and that once in a while would serve as great inspiration for young Ghanaians like me and many others. But of course, if as an elderly statesman has an opinion, um, young people like us who are no less citizens of this great country and sons of this land stand every right or reserve every right to courteously disagree when we do, because as it is said, opinions are like noses, and nobody's opinion is sacrosanct. Nobody can consider what they think as impeccable. So therefore, everybody is free to share a divergent view on any subject. And that is in all courtesy. Mr. Bendoche Malo is someone I look up to. My intention to serve the Republic of Ghana internationally was born out of the fact that while I was in high school, I was taking up a French class. I'm a polyglot. Then in the French class, even though my French has gone stale, but then throughout my days in diplomacy, I worked for Middle Eastern interests in the Republic of Ghana, and my Arabic is solid in all modesty and moderation. So it's a working language for me up to this time. During that time, while sitting as a science student and sitting in a French class, I was told about Kofi Annan. I didn't know too much about him at that time. And then they were explaining to us how he got the opportunity to serve with the United Nations because he was strongly bilingual. He could speak English and French as well. So that increased my, interest in French, in international diplomacy, and international relations, so to speak. I never knew Mr. Don Duce Malo. Never did I know him. It was only much, much later when I started engaging the state that I got to know that he was serving with the former government. And on a couple of occasions, I actually went to the Flagstaff House at that time, which is now the Jubilee House, to interpret for the former president when I had to take ambassadors I handled to the president, whether to give their letters of credence or to bid farewell to His Excellency the President. I have never crossed paths with this senior diplomat. But if you ask me, is he someone I've looked up to? I've told you I never knew him. When I was picking up the pieces and taking an intention to want to do something in the area of international diplomacy, it was Kofi Annan. Then this issue came. When the issue came, I felt my good friends of the press had done a shoddy job. I have friends and I don't throw my friends under the bus. If they are wrong, I'll tell them they are wrong. But when you intimidate somebody into apologizing for a narrative you have put out there in a one-sided, lopsided way, then I don't think you are being fair. So I raised the concern. When my friend felt let down by the world and nobody was ready to listen to his side of the story, I made his other wives speak. And they said he had never raised a finger on any of them, not to talk of raising a hand. We're not talking about a violent person. We're not talking about a violent person. I'm not violent and I'm not friends to violent people. Then you write to me in a 12-point, article or whatever to call it. You say my views are repugnant, repulsive, and reprehensible. Is that diplomatic to do, sir? What are the views I'm espousing that are so repugnant? What are the views? That swallowing hook, line, and sinker Western culture to cause an imbalance in an African family is wrong. What is repugnant or reprehensible about this? Nowhere have I indicated that men should be violent towards women. All that I sought to do was to make the world see the bigger picture and also recognize the fact that a woman alleges doesn't mean it's true. I call it the theory of the tyranny of a majority idea. A woman says this has happened, so we should swallow it hook, line, and sinker. Is that what you think is repugnant? Mr. Senior Diplomat, is that what you think is reprehensible? I worked in diplomacy, and one thing is for sure, we do due diligence before we engage the host country. Did you take time to look at the bigger picture? We live in a country where the word of the woman is seen as sacrosanct, even though a woman can be wrong. Do you know what went on between the man and his wife? Why go to a television station to humiliate and disgrace your husband? Did he pay your bride price on national TV? Between every man and his wife, there are issues. And I don't think Mr. Ben Malo, you would be happy if your wife should run. I was in Washington, D.C., and I went to grant an interview to the Voice of America. I don't think you would be happy if any member of your family ran to a TV station to talk about family issues, no matter how egregious those issues are or that issue is. So I don't see the fuss about this, that we say African men should take their natural position and status in a family as final authorities. Look back. For every Ghanaian, whether young or old, ask yourself, how submissive was my mom to my dad? And if you were fortunate, just like me, to have met your grandma, look back and see how submissive and respectful she was to your granddad. What you are asking us to accept is a marked departure from our idiosyncrasies as Africans. And in all courtesy, we won't be cowed in sharing those opinions. You chose the time and the manner in which to write to me. This is one of up to 12 parts. And sir, this is the most courteous I can be. But if I'm left with no option, I'll choose the time and the manner in which to respond to you. Nobody is advocating domestic violence. Nobody is telling men they should go about hitting their wives. The other wife said he's never raised a finger, not to talk of a hand. So what happened? What happened? If you knew what I know about this issue, I'm sure your views on the issue would be different. And I don't care if your issues are different also or not. I don't share views to get people to support me. Far from it. I'm not running a campaign. I don't need votes. But to make a miscalculated effort and a misinformed effort, misrepresenting the facts and calling my views repugnant, reprehensible, only because I have said we should go back to our pristine family values as Africans, where a man is respected. In reciprocity, he also gives the needed protection and care and love to a woman. Is this repugnant? Take care, sir. And I'll choose how to respond to the other 11 misguided representations as at when I deem fit. Good luck. Bye-bye.